another domain and range one, like the one from last time. You're looking furthest left to right and lowest to highest. So furthest point to the left would be -3. Furthest point to the right is +2. I'm just going to write it in interval notation. And then range lowest to highest. Lowest is at -1, highest is at +3. Other questions on the short right? Okay. So for number 1, you needed to solve this, distribute. Combine like terms on the same side. If you saw that these were the same, even though they were flipped on both sides, you could have stopped there, said this is going to be infinitely many solutions. If you didn't see that and kept going, let's say you got rid of your x's, and let's say you got rid of your 6's, you would have got 0 equals 0, or if you just got rid of your x's but not the 6's, either way, number equals a number, the variables disappear, so that is infinitely many solutions. Other questions on the short right? Remember that these are good review from either things we've talked about since the beginning of the year or things you've learned previously. Also good things to practice throughout the year as we get towards the end of the year. Alright, so let's talk about a couple of things. One, let's talk about your tests first. So I have not put in your Unit 5 tests yet. That's my plan today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. So you'll see that. Yes. Anything that got retested, I've graded. I just not have been put in yet. So if you are waiting on that grade to change, it will change before grades are due. For me, it's Monday, Tuesday. So be patient with that. If you have not finished your test, 1 section, 2 sections, all of them, your name is on this board back here. Everyone turn, look, find your name, see if your name is up there. Your name will stay up there until you finish those tests. So make sure you come see me before or after school if we have time in class. Come get them done so I can erase your name off the board. We're also going to start something new. If you take a test and do not finish it, you have until the next test to finish it. Otherwise, you are automatically going to retake. I'm going to grade your test as is by the next test, and whatever your grade is, if you need to retake, you're going to retake. Okay? Does everyone understand what I just said? So you have until, everyone look at your calendar, find when our test is. So you have until the 22nd of February, so a little less than a month. I'm before and after school all the time. You have no reason to not come get this done, as well as we have time in class. You could easily get this done. Great. Questions on that before I continue? That same reasoning can be applied to those of you that said you want to retake Unit 5. You shouldn't be waiting until April to remember something that we did in January. Come do it while it's still somewhat fresh. Do the test corrections, the Delta Math. You could do the Delta Math and Khan Academy on your own. Come see me if you need help with those. But test corrections you need to come and do while you're here. So come get those done so you can retake as soon as possible. You could really retake next week if you get everything done. So come get that done as soon as possible. Other important things on the calendar. Your next flex day is next Friday? Yes, that's accurate. That flex day will be you taking the STAR test. So I'll send out a reminder for you to bring your laptop, just in case you don't usually bring it. And then like last time, the next flex day will be review/flex. We may need to finish notes, but we'll see. Take note of all of the Khan Academy quiz date, and the test date. If you forget any of those dates, where else can you find those dates? Canvas, on the sheet.
Announcements.
And then announcements. Someone said that.
The calendar.
The calendar on Canvas.
On Canvas.
Mm-hmm. Where else?
On the board.
On the board, okay. So you have no excuse as to why we're not studying and getting this stuff done. All right. Questions on any of that? Did you make the pass already? All right. So this next unit is on factoring. Some of you may or may not remember that from algebra. But we're going to go into all the different types of factoring, not today, throughout this unit. So everyone should have notes that look like this. As I always say, if you didn't pay attention well last unit, make sure you do better. If you were on your phone, make sure you do better. Great. Really quickly, let's go through these first three problems. They are distributing problems. So if we distributed A here, you have to somewhat remember your exponent rules, which I don't know if you do or don't. If you're multiplying a variable to that same variable, the exponents add to each other, so that becomes 3a squared plus 7a. So if we distributed negative 2m, what would that become? We're adding those exponents together, and the exponents you can't see are 1, 1. So negative 2m times m squared would be what? Not squared, but add 1. Okay, then the next one would be negative 2m times 6m. What squared? It will be m squared, but what would the number be? So every time we multiply the same bases together or the variables together, we're adding the exponents. Right? Then that last one would just be negative or positive 2. Right? Now for this one, if we distribute this, what would this one be? What do we think? Not a number, so the 4 is going to stay the same. You have x's in the first one. Add those exponents. What would that become? 5. The y would not change, so it would be x to the 5th y. What would the second part be? Just like the first part, the x's would stay the same, the y's would change, and you're multiplying numbers. 4 times negative 2 would give us negative 8. We don't have another x, so that's staying the same. Both of these have exponents of 1. What would your new y be? Because this has a 1 and this has a 1. So y. Right? The only real reason I did this is because what we're about to do is basically we're going to start with something that looks like this and go back to this. That's what we are going to be doing, so I want you to see what it will look like on both sides. I forgot what this part says. Go ahead and write this. So this is describing what factoring is. Separating a polynomial, which is an expression that has exponents and variables, back into a product. And then I'm going to explain how this works. So in the first one it says 4a squared plus 8a. The second one says 4a, and then in parentheses a plus 2. So when we factor, we're thinking about what is the highest number we can divide out of both, or what is the highest amount of variables we can take out of both. So let's do this one at a time. Some of these you may know off the top of your head. Some of them you may have to write out the factors. Does not matter. While you're practicing, I can show you how you can do this in Desmos later. So let's say we listed out the factors of 4 and the factors of 8. Give me factors of 4. What times what will give us 4? Okay. Right, and then factors of 8. And, okay. And we don't need to put the switched versions because those will all be the same. Right? We're looking for, of the factors, which ones do they have in common, but the highest number they have in common. So they each have a 2, they each have a 1, but they also each have a 4, so that would be the highest number that they both have in common. So we can divide both of these by 4. That's really what we're doing here. But when we do that, we're not making it disappear. It's kind of weird. Whatever number we said, we're going to put it out front. And then whatever we divide and whatever's left, that's what gets put inside. So 4 divided by 4 is just 1. And then 8 divided by 4 is 2. So that's where those numbers come from. Then if we're looking at the variables, a times a equals a squared. That's something we'll need to remember. So if there are 2 a's here and 1 a here, the most a's I can take out of both of them is just 1. I can't take 2 out of both of them because 1 doesn't have 2 to take from. So if I take an a or divide an a out of both, that's why that a is on the outside. Then we're looking at how many a's would be left. If I have 2, I take 1 out, there will just be 1 left. If I have 1, I take 1 out, there will be 1 left. We're actually going to practice this, but before we do that, what questions do we have so far? Let's try something. sometimes the lowest number you see will be the highest number you can divide out of both. Sometimes that's not the case. It depends. So for number 1, what is the highest number we can take out of both? Divide out of both. 3. So because that's the highest number, so I'm going to do this and then we're going to start to break away from this. I'm still going to put this underneath it just to kind of show you what we're doing. But that number we're going to put outside of parentheses. So my next question was, can we take an x out of both of those terms? No, because only one has an x. So x won't be part of our answer out here. If we divide 12 by 3, what would be left? 4. Okay. So this would be the factored form of the original. And then to check ourselves, we could distribute it back and see, do we get the original? Which we do, so it works. Questions so far? Yes, Ada. Oh. Yes. Time. Which is what we're about to talk about. That's if neither term or none of the terms have something you can take out except one, it's prime. That's really what you want when you factor. You want the inside parentheses to be prime, because there's nothing else you can take out or divide out except one, which wouldn't change anything, so we wouldn't do it. Okay. Other questions? Okay, let's do 2. Highest number we can take out of both? 7. This will seem like it's way too easy. That's great. This should feel easy. So if we divide both by 7, and we put 7 out in front of parentheses, what's left? 1 for this one, and 1 y for this one, or this y. Right, so make sure you're including your variables. If you drop off a variable, your answer becomes wrong very fast. Notice that we're not solving here to get like a final answer equals a number, not that. Where's the one? This one? Because we divided, 7 by 7, or negative 7 by 7, so it's really negative 1. Right. For number 3, so here, if you're not sure, I would list out all your factors of 8 and 36 just to make sure you didn't miss something. This 36 has a lot. Right, so we got 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Give me factors of 36. You can start dividing. It's a process. So you would do this. Oh, I have it. It's not up. Okay, hold that thought. So you would start off with your number. Everything's divisible by 1, so that would obviously be a factor. Go to the next one. It's even, so I should be able to divide by 2. Okay, so 2 and 18. Go to the next one. 3 works. 4 works. 5 does not, because you got a decimal. You just have to keep doing that. So it's a process. You could do it on a calculator. Are there any others? I said there's one more. If you're doing this process on the calculator, what I would say is, as you start to do it, the numbers start to get closer and closer together. If they're the same, then you're done. If you do it and try to do the numbers in between and all of them are decimals, there aren't anymore. So you could stop there. Great. Highest number we can divide from both of these things. Okay, so 4. I'm going to stop dividing here, but if you want to keep doing that, feel free. Can we divide any variables out of both of them? No, they're not the same. If they were both n or both m, then sure, but they're different. So if we divide 4 out of both, what's left? Think about your factors, think about your variables that are still there. 2m plus 9n. Doesn't hurt to check yourself, especially when you start getting more variables, more terms. I'm going to multiply this back out just to make sure. 8m, 36n, that works. Number 4. I'm not going to write out the factors. I want you to find it. Highest number you can divide out of both of those. 5. Can you divide 6 out of 5? You can't divide any variables, so what would be our inside? X plus 6 y. There we go. Alright, questions so far? Go on to the next page. Okay, let's skip to 6. Highest number and number of variables we can take out of both. Can we take 3 out of 4?
Oh, no, I was in
Okay. I think 3 is right for 7, though. 6, 4, and then can we take out any variables and how many? 4y. So we can only take out 1y because this one doesn't have 2. We can't take 2 out of something that's not there. What would be left? We're dividing. Not so square because we took one out. Not 8. 6. I was like, you guys can use your calculators. It's okay. Okay. When you end up with more variables, you can distribute it back out. You should get the same thing. 4y times y is 4y squared. 4y times negative 6 is negative 24y. So that does work. Questions on that one? Let's do 8. Highest number, and then variable, and which. Two. Sometimes the highest number isn't very high at all. Can you take out variables? Do both of them have a G? H. Okay, so if you take out 2H, what is left? What's 14? There we go. 7G minus 9. Beautiful. Questions so far? Let's try some harder ones, like 9. Find the highest number of variables, which ones? 15, okay. I'm going to show you what happens if you didn't choose the highest variable. So let's say you did 5 or 3 instead. We'll go back to the 15 in a minute. We know 15 is the highest, but I'm just going to show you what happens if you don't choose the highest, for number-wise anyway. Can we take out any variables? Can we take out 2 A's? Do they both have 2 A's? No. So we can take out 1A, 1B. So if you don't choose the highest number, and I divide this by 5AB, then I get 3A minus 10 minus 6. I divided by 3, my bad. Minus 6. They both have at least 1A, and then they both have a B. So even though one has 2 A's, you can't do the 2 because both of them don't have 2. Right? Notice that both of these numbers, 3 and 6, I can take a 3 out of that, which means we didn't divide by the highest number. We knew that already though. So that means you have to do it again. Take 3 out of everything and multiply it to the front. To get that 15AB. So even if you don't pick the highest number first, as long as you get there eventually, you're fine. If you pick the highest first, then you're fine. Questions on that? Alright, let's try 11. Yeah, this is the final answer. I'm sorry, this shouldn't be at all. It should be 1. That was my bad. And you're right, it should be 2, not 1 also. Yes, that's what that should have been. Okay, for 11, can you take out anything? A. Sometimes you don't have numbers, so you're thinking about number of variables. So if you take A out of both, what's left? B. What's A divided by A? 1. So A times B minus 1. Okay. 13. Is there anything you could take out of that one? One, but that wouldn't change anything. So this one you would just say is prime. The only factors are 1 in itself. Plus 14. Find the highest factor. You can divide out of everything and number of variables. If you need to list out your factors, you can do that. Oh, I didn't mean to do that parenthesis right there. Variables, can we take out any and how many of each? Say that again. A, B, and C. 1 of each, yes. Sorry. You can take more than 1 of C. They both have at least 2. They don't have 3. Right, so if we're taking 6abc squared out of both terms, what's left? Start with the number. Hold on. Yes. And this is its most factored form because the 3 and the 8 don't have anything in common. A and C don't have anything in common. We got rid of B. That is the final answer. Questions on that? Let's do one where we have 3 now. 15. Highest number of variables for each. 15. 2 is the highest number. Take out any variables, which ones, and how many of each. Like x to the 4th. So you wouldn't put both, you would just put 2xy. Okay, so if we're dividing out 2xy out of everything, what would be left? Some of you aren't paying attention, and this is like the foundation of this entire unit. If you can't do this, you really can't do anything else. The x would have came out or got rid of, so just y. Plus just 2. So it looks weird, but that is its factor form. If we're dividing this and this, the x's cancel, the y's cancel. 4 divided by 2 is 16. Let's do 18. So highest number you can divide out of all of them. Can we take out variables? Which ones? How many? Is the highest number. We got variables. If so, which ones? How many?
A, B.
Just one A, just one B?
Yeah.
What? Not this one. You do 2. So you can't do 4 A's because this one only has 2. You can't do 4 B's because these have 2 and 3, but 2 of both work. So if we divide that out of each term, what's left? How many A's would be left here? Think about subtracting 3.
No.
There would be no B's for that one.
There's a B3.
For the next one, yes.
Minus
Is B or B1, B to the first, either or, doesn't matter. And then the last one? Would there still be
I
A?
don't see any difference.
So it just is -1. So it looks like that should be able to be simplified more, but if you look at it, this one has 2, this can be divided by 2, but this can't. This has A, but this can't. This is only one B, so it is in its simplest form. Let's do 21. What can we take out of all three of those? One M and one N. So if we do that, what's left? What were you going to say? So think about this like this as a 1, and you're just doing 3 minus 100. Yes. The next one. The next one. Minus MN. Plus the 5 would still be there. M would not be there, but N squared would. Again, it looks like it should be able to be simplified more, but none of them have, all 3 of them don't have M's, all 3 of them don't have N's, all 3 of them don't have numbers. 24. That's the last one, and then any others you guys want to see. 3 is the highest number, yes? Is not 8 squared, because this one only has 1. So this one. So this, the A still has a 1, the B has a 0. So 2, 2, yes. And this one's C, correct. For things like this, where there's like a bunch of variables, if you want to go back to the dividing thing, so I'll write that down here, you could do that just to make sure you're on the right track. You didn't miss anything. Okay, so if we're dividing each piece by 3 AB squared C, what's left? This is just the dividing piece. Say it again. A squared, yes. B's, C's, 3, for example. You're missing something. -3 or -3, A and B and C. Because one of them goes away. rewrite that whole answer. 3ab squared c times a squared minus 3abc plus 5bc b squared c squared. There we go.
Is anything like that going to be on the test?
Maybe. Questions on that? I think the only thing we didn't cover is this, and I'm going to just do it really fast. If the first term has a negative, you have to factor out that negative. And then all of your signs will change. So if the first term has a negative, you have to factor out that negative. Okay. Look in those pages. The last page, we did all the first page. Any on these that we skipped that we want to see, go over, have questions about? Practice. None of you have to do all of them, but the only way to get better at these things is to practice. 20 on this page. Any others on this page or the last page? Twenty, 23, any others? Alright, let's start with 20. What is the highest number we can divide out of everything? And then number of variables, which ones, how many? 6, I think is the highest. And then variables. So look at each one, see if they all have that variable. If they don't, you can't use it. If they all have it, look and see what's the highest number of exponents they all have. I'm sorry, look at the lowest number of exponents they all have and go with that one. It is just 1z. Because they all don't have x, they all don't have y, and there's the lowest is z. So we're dividing each by 6z, what's left?
X2.
That will stay the same. 3x squared, we're missing something. Y. Next one, minus. Not 3, double check that. 4. X. C to the first. You can put any of these to the first. And then plus 6 y
Z2.
z squared. Correct. Okay, questions on that one? And then 23. Highest number and variable, which one, how many? It is 5. A. Dividing each of these by 5a, what's left? Close? Not 6? 7. A. Minus 4. B squared. Plus. Just correct. Taylor.
What did you decide?
35 divided by 5. Any other questions? Overall, How do we feel about factoring? Good, okay, probably need more practice, not good, don't understand what's going on. Some of our sleepers on our phones, so it's probably you. So I would say if you guys have one Khan Academy on this that's due next Friday, it will take you 5 minutes. Do that, get that done. You don't have to worry about it next week. If you want to keep practicing on this, do that. If you want to finish your tests, you could do that. Come see me to work on that. If you finish the Khan Academy, finish practice, and want to work on retake stuff, you can come see me to get that. Let me